There's one. A little guy, but we'll take him. We can get him in, get him out of those weeds. There we go. A little jerkbait bass. Oh, it's a smallmouth. By golly, we got us a smallmouth. Oh, come on. You gotta be careful with little hooks with a jerkbait. Let me tell you, they can create a nightmare, just like that. Get him out of the weeds here. There we go. All right. All right, buddy. Look, I got him hooked on the back hook. Got him. Hey, buddy. You know, one thing that's a lot of fun, I'm gonna have to get the pliers out on you just because that little hook's hard for me to grab. There we go. One thing that's a lot of fun to throw, that's just a little guy, but they're beautiful fish right here at Fool's Hollow Lake. I'll tell you what, Fool Hollow offers a lot of different kind of structure to bass fish. And one thing I love about this lake, I kind of grew up on this lake, is it's finally full. We got it. We got submerged vegetation back here, and you know, we'll probably see some tules here and there, and I'll tell you what, it offers a lot of rock, great for smallmouth bass. We have largemouth bass in here as well, and if you love to come up and trout fish, what a great lake. It's an early, brisk morning. Believe it or not, we're almost in June. Water temperature, 65 degrees. So these fish are just now starting to get going really good. So we'll see if we can't catch a few out here on a jerkbait. I'm throwing a smaller jerkbait, 12-pound test line, medium action taipan rod, and you know, it's made by Rapala, however you want to say it. And tell you what, that's an awesome little bait right there. We sure have a lot of fun. A little olive back with a white bottom on it, which is great for this area. You know, we've got bluegill in here, and we don't have any shad, so I'm not really going with a big shad color. So more of a fishy pattern like a trout. You know, trout have a lot of green in them here, and the rainbow trout does. And so that's what we're pretty much doing. And I'm twitching this pretty slow. I'm not working it real fast. I'm giving it a couple twitches, I'm pausing it, and then I'll twitch it again. Now the big key to throwing this bait is giving it slack every time you twitch it. So basically when I twitch it, I put slack in my line so the bait actually kind of walks underwater. It gives it a good twitch, and because you could just pull it like this and it's gonna pull and it's gonna dig like this, but if you give it the opportunity with a little slack line, it'll actually go back and forth just like this underwater, and it's an awesome little bait, and it suspends. These fish are just now starting to bed, and they've probably been going about 2 weeks now, but now is the time where they're really going to start moving up. What's really crazy, because if you're down in the Phoenix area and you're on those desert lakes, they're pretty much done down there, and they're just starting up here. It's what I've always loved about the beautiful White Mountains. There's one. There's one. Nicer fish. Knew you had to be in there somewhere. Right around that tree. Come on. That's a little bit bigger bass, see? Oh, come on, buddy. Come to the back. We had to come to the back to get that done. Whew. Fishing's a little tougher than I thought, but we're just getting out here, working our way to the back of this lake. And boy, he ate it. A little bit nicer fish too. Look how they're all beat up, but they look like footballs. Little football fish. Okay, buddy, thank you. What I've switched to, we're in a lot of vegetation back here. I mean a lot. And one of my favorite things to throw back here is either flip a little brush hog or something like that in this stuff, or a weightless Cinco in the holes and pockets of the weeds. You can also get away with doing some frogging, but, and we might do a little bit of that just to see what's going on. But there's not a whole lot of action on the water right now. Not even the carp are going nuts. So, you know, the water temperature's a lot warmer back here, 72 degrees. And what I'm doing is just going along the shoreline right now, throwing my weightless Senko. And what I'm gonna do is target areas like little trees, like the one we just caught this fish off of, just little areas like that, and see if I can't catch them on a weightless Senko. Now you can throw weightless lizards, you know, this is one of my favorites. I'm using that nanofill line, obviously. I love it. It's white, I can see the fish actually hit it. And I'm throwing a fluorocarbon leader. Now I went to a 12-pound test. I'm throwing a 12-pound nanofill and I'm throwing a 12-pound test leader. And the reason for that is because you get them in these weeds, you want to be able to get them out. Medium action Taipan spinning rod. I can skip it up underneath something, really easy. But I'm using just a little 2/0 hook, a little 4-inch Senko. And when the bass fishing gets tough on these lakes, you have to downsize a lot of times to get them to bite. That's not saying you can't throw, like I said, a frog over top of the weeds and catch some fish, because it's got that potential as well. And I'm probably going to throw it a little bit just to see if we get bit on it. But couldn't get any top water action this morning on my Rico, but out on the main lake. So I'm thinking, we just went through Memorial Day weekend too, so a lot of people were out here. The fish are pressured. When the fish get pressured, you just downsize. So instead of throwing the big 5-inch, I'm going to throw a little 4-inch. I'm just going to go down through here and see if we can't pluck another bass. That was a lot better fish than we were catching on the jerk baits, and we'll see what happens. It's slick water today, no wind. So these fish will be hanging out, and once the sun gets real bright, they'll get themselves up underneath the weeds in the little shade pockets, and that's where we'll want to catch them, alongside a piece of wood or something like that. So I'll go back to another little 4-inch Senko and see if I can't get them. This bad all over. Oh, got him. He came out from underneath that rock. A big old rock right there. I just tossed my Senko by, and he came out and caught it. Not a big fish, but another smallmouth. See, that's the deal. There's some smallies around them rocks still. Little buck bass. Little male. 3 fish, that's pretty good for this lake. You know, these fish, what's so cool, like I said about this lake, you can get up and fish the weeds. We fished those weeds forever. Just could not get anything going back there. Caught the 1 fish, but now we're coming back out to the rocks, and I thought, well, I'll throw around the rock a little bit. And usually when you get around the rocks, you find the smallmouth. Maybe we can get a couple of them going. Might have to pull out the old droppy shot. Something else I like to do on this lake is wacky Senko too, and I might switch over. If we don't have a whole lot of weeds, once we get out towards the main lake, I'll probably go to a wacky Senko, only because when we get in those rocks and stuff, I love to drag that wacky Senko over those rocks. Hey folks, just a few quick baits that I want to show you that work really good on these upper lakes here when you come to the White Mountains that I like to throw this time of year going into the summer. First and foremost is a spinnerbait. It's really important to have a good spinnerbait on you, and I like gold blades up here. You know, we have trout, the bluegill, and gold blades are awesome up here. I've always liked gold. You can go with the nickel and the gold, but have a gold on there one way or the other. It's a great bait to throw. Another bait that you've seen us catch a few fish on that I've done really well on, but normally when the wind starts kicking up, you can start catching them on a jerk bait. Jerk baits are a lot of fun to throw this time of year, and like I said, those fish will start moving out on the edge of the weed lines, and you want to fish the deeper water with these and throw that jerk bait away from the weeds, and I'll tell you, or alongside the weeds, parallel yourself with them and you'll do pretty good. The all-around go-to bait on these lakes up here, you remember we have a lot of crawdads, is a jig. Little jig with a little trailer on it. Works really good. I like black and blue or a craw color, like say anything with a little copper in it, something like that works really well. Make it small, compact, and it works really well. Sometimes when the fish are really eating good, you can put a big old, you know, brush hog or something on the back of these things and they work really well. And so you'll catch some fish on this bait right here. You gotta move it slow, find the rock, and maybe throw it in a few of the pockets and things like that. You know, don't forget the frogs. I don't throw a whole lot of frogs up here because I'm busy throwing Cincos and things like that, weightless Cincos. That's another thing that's really good. And remember the 4-inch. Always go with a 4-inch. You can go with a 5 if you wacky style it. I like the wacky style of the 5. And then when I'm throwing into the weeds, I rig it up weedless, and I like to go with that watermelon color, watermelon black. Anything like that works really good up here. Got him. He went and got that. He went and got that. Look at that. That was funny. I saw him swimming. All right, come on, baby. Oh. These little mill bass right now are moving up into the shallows and starting to make beds this time of year going into June. And so you can see them up here and they're roaming. The water's dirty, but we came to the main lake area and it's really weedy and we got islands. It's beautiful back in here. And I saw a big one I want to go back and try to get, a decent fish. But if you can find enough water clarity here on Fool Hollow, and right now with all the water that we had, you know, these fish are up. They're up. It's just hard to find them right now. It's hard to catch them. And like I said, I don't know if you can tell by the millions of people on the bank right now. We're here on a holiday, so why? I don't know, but we are. And there's a lot of people fishing. So the lake, you got to remember, this kind of lake gets pressured really easy. And what I mean by that is, you know, you've got 3 or 4 bass fishermen going around in a circle on this lake because it's not that big, and it pressures the fish and they just, you know, they quit hitting. So what I like to do this time of year is I can usually go up and find a few beds or something like that, get into areas where everybody else isn't fishing and try to fish for those fish. And it's not areas I normally fish, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what, for my tip of the week, when you're on these little lakes up here in the White Mountains, one of the best things you can do is get out early in the morning before everybody else gets out and cover the water with reaction baits. You do that and then slow down and start worming, because otherwise the banks get so loaded up during the summer that it's hard to fish the banky areas. So it's been a big trick for me for years, even in our bass club, because we still hold bass tournaments here. But I'll go around the lake once with a reaction bait, spinnerbait, crankbait, whatever you want to throw. Try to catch those quick fish and then slow down and go after the worm fish. And I'll tell you what, it'll help you a lot more. That's a good tip of the week for here in the White Mountains. Got him. I got light line on that drop shot. I got light line on that drop shot. That's a little bit better fish, huh? Oh, he was blind in one eye. He was blind in one eye. Come here, fish. All right, you're done. Gotcha. That took me a little while, but I got him. One thing nice about power poles, especially in this shallow water, is even with a little breeze blowing here and there, you can still get these fish to bite if you just sit there and sit still. We sat on this fish for a little bit and managed to get in there and get him. He was a spooked fish, but look, he's blind in one eye, so he's still got one good eye, and he bit that with the one good eye. Beautiful fish, 2+ pounder right there. Yeah, that's what we should be catching here at Fool Hollow. Look at it. Go ahead. See you, buddy. You know, a lot of times especially with fish that have already been caught and things like that. When they get real finicky, you can throw that drop shot in there. It's risky at times because I like to throw the light line in there because the worm actually acts more natural the lighter the line that you have. In saying that, what do they say? No risk, no reward. He ended up biting my little worm there, but you know, I like to have it there on the deck, throw a 1/4 ounce weight. And this bait works good all over the lake, but there's times it works better, obviously. But I love drop shot, and I'm using my Taipan drop shot rod and my Signature Series drop shot rod, which is it's a medium light. But in saying that, it's got more of a medium action to it, but it's got the real light tip, soft tip, and the way it loads is just awesome. Loads up pretty nice right there. And I'm still using the braid line, and I just took the 6-pound test line up to it. Now, I'd been throwing 10 on it because I just got back from Clear Lake, and you need 10-pound test line there. But anytime these fish up here get finicky like that, you got to go to the lighter line, especially in the clear water. They're a little bit more wary of what's going on, and they have tons of boats running over them. You know, when you're in a smaller pond where these fish see boat after boat after boat, you have to learn to downsize, and that's what we're talking about today, just to get bit. And it's tough right now. The fishing's really tough here, and it shouldn't be, but it's tough. But we're catching some fish. There's still some fish bedding, you know. Well, it's been somewhat of a tough day. We found a few bed fish. There's a few jerkbait fish, but I've had some fun, some Cinco fish. Fool Hollow Lake, it's a fun lake to fish. It's very unique. You can bring your bass boat out here. You can't fire up your big motor. You gotta use the trolling motor. And that way you can have a lot of fun. And like I said, I can get around the lake 3 or 4 times with my batteries normally, and do pretty good on that trolling motor. So yeah, you can. I've had people ask me all the time, can you bring big boats up like the bass boats? And I'm like, yeah, you can bring them up. We use them in our bass club all the time. You just can't fire the big motor. Remember, it's a 10-horse motor only up here. So trolling motor's just fine though. These lakes are small enough, you'll have a good time. Thanks for joining me on the show. Till next week, I'm Johnny Johnson.
Now, see, that's what I'm talking about, folks.